Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's game day.
It's game day.
It is game day.
UCLA.
We're with the boy Nan right now. We are walking to an off-campus apartment. One of Max's friends decided to host us today. Shout out to him.
Shout out Max.
Yep. We are going back for, I think it's either $1, $1. I don't think it's $1, $2 today. Buying it for $100. You know how it goes. Max, always a great host. Hopefully we get some pizza, and hopefully the Hoosiers win. We're playing UCLA. It'll be fun to play some cards and, watch some football. And also UFC tonight. So,
Ooh, Sean O'Malley.
got an action-packed evening for the boys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you on the felt. It's another beautiful afternoon here in Indiana as the Hoosiers take on UCLA. Max, the pit boss, is back, and everyone is excited for some action. We buy into the game for $100, and we are off. What did you say, Dylan?
I'm taking all this kid's money tonight, no question about it. He's about to have $0 with 3 buy-ins, so down 300.
Look who's back. What up, Max?
What's good, Antonio?
Beautiful host. Beautiful host.
Thank you.
The first hand we are involved in, we look down at Queen 10 of clubs on the big blind. The player to my left and under the gun raises to $3. Action folds to the cutoff, and he calls. I call as well for $2 more, and we are 3 ways to a flop, which comes Jack 10 deuce rainbow, giving us middle pair. I am first to act, and I bet $6 into a $10 pot. Undressed at my left calls, and Steven in the cutoff calls as well. The turn is the 2 of diamonds, pairing the board. I now have 2 pair and decide to go for almost a half pot bet of $12. Undressed thinks about it for a bit. After a little contemplating, though, he makes the fold. Now action is on Steven, who is also taking a bit to make a decision. Could be holding a jack, which obviously would have me beat, but I am representing a strong hand here, so I know when he calls, I know regardless of what the river is, I will have to bet big to take this pot down. The river is the 3 of diamonds. I assume that this does not improve either of our hands. I want to go for a bet that a better 2 pair and trips combo will fold. I fire out $25 and my opponent snap folds. Nice start to the session as we take down a $52 pot to start the day off. Next hand we are involved in, we look down at the Snowmen, pocket 8s. We're in the big blind again. Dylan in middle position raises to $3. Tyson the low jack calls, so do the hijack and the cutoff. The button then 3 bets to $10. Small blind folds and action's on me. A middle pair like pocket 8s could be a 4 bettable hand pre-flop, but here I just decide to call since there are so many players to act after me. Dylan looks a little upset about it, but he reluctantly calls. Tice also decides to come along for the ride. The hijack folds, and then Boz calls as well for $7 more. We are 5 ways to a flop, which comes 6, 2, 5, 2 spades. I'm first to act in the big blind, and I'm between betting and checking here. I do have an overpair, but there are many hands that have me beat. I don't think a hand like 3-4 is still involved after all the pre-flop aggression, so I decide to fire out $12 to see what other hands my opponents could be holding. Middle position and the low jack call. Boz in the cutoff decides to get out of there, and the pre-flop aggressor on the button calls. We now have 4 players still involved, and the turn comes the 10 of hearts. I decide to slow down here and check, as now any hand holding a 10 has me beat. The action checks around to the button, and he then raises to $25. Weird spot for me, as I was pretty confident with my hand on the flop. However, he was the pre-flop aggressor, and his range contains a lot more 10s than mine does. Even though I'm holding a singular spade, he is probably more likely to be betting on the front door flush draw, which I have no showdown value against. After a little bit of thinking, I fold my hand, accepting defeat on this one. The next hand that we deem vlog-worthy is Ace-Queen offsuit. Action limps to me in the small blind, and I decide to go for a pre-flop bet of $7. The big blind folds, Dylan in under the gun +1 folds, and then Steven, who loves to give his action, decides to call. The hijack calls as well, and then the cutoff and button decide to come along for the ride. We have now built this pot up to $37 pre-flop, which is pretty good for our hand. We are 5 ways to a flop, which comes King 8-8 rainbow. Action checks around on this pair board. No one really wants to bet here, and we are praying that the turn helps us out. Turns out that it does, as the turn is the queen of clubs. I go for the cheeky check, waiting for my opponents to do the betting for me. Low jack checks, and then balls in the hijack throws out $5. The players in the cutoff and button fold, and now action is on me. I decide to go for a check raise and bump it up to $10. Low jack folds, and Boz comes along for $5 more. Heads up to a river, which comes the 5 of clubs, and action checks through. We take this one down with our 2 pair, and we win that $57 pot. The hand following directly after, we are dealt pocket sixes on the button. There is a pre-flop bet of $5, and 3 players before me call. I call as we are in position, and we are 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes ace, 8, 7, rainbow. The board doesn't really seem to favor anyone's hand, as action checks to me. As I'm in position, I want to isolate my opponents here, and so I decide to bet out $8 into the dark with my pocket pair. Dylan seems to be pretty vocal today, as he verbally expresses his annoyance with my bet. However, I guess all this talking out loud got him in the gambling mood, as after a bit of theatrics, he makes the call. The hijack and the button quickly make the call as well, and we are now 4 ways to a turn. The turn is a 3. Kind of a brick. Action checks to me again, and I know I want to bet on the larger side to either take this pot down now or only have 1 or 2 opponents on the river. I fire out $20. Here's what Dylan has to say.
$20.
What? What are you going to do? You're going to call?
Ace queen.
Ace, I had that last time. I'm not going to have it 2 times in a row, am I?
Rocco, go yourself and seriously everything you stand for.
Along with Dylan's fold, the hijack also decides to say goodbye to this hand, and the button makes the call for $20 more, and we are heads up to a river. The river is the 7 of hearts. The button checks to me, and I am now in the tank. The board is paired, and I'm realistically only beating a missed straight draw or a hand holding a 3. I think about how the button played this hand. He called quickly on both the flop and turn and now checks to me on a board that is likely to favor my hand than his. Is he trying to trap me, so I bet and he goes for the check raise? I'm not sure. Do I want to jam here as I semi-bluff to take this down, or is he sitting there with a full house waiting for me to do just that? I start messing with my chips to see his reaction, and he doesn't seem nervous at all. I have no idea what he could be holding, as him not betting here really puts me in a weird spot. I really do not want to get check raised here, so after a bit of thought, I check back.
Yeah, I'd be right home. Sixes.
My opponent shows that he has 6-9 offsuit, giving him an open-ended straight draw on the flop. Fortunately for us, he did not improve, so he only had 9 high on the river. Great run out for us, as we take the $98 that were put into the middle and add it to our stack of chips, which is looking pretty nice right about now. Unfortunately for us, we are then card dead for almost 2 full hours. Granted, we did make some nitty folds, but the hands we were being dealt just weren't good enough for me to risk any of my chips. Within those 2 hours, though, the Indiana Hoosiers game was going pretty well. We ended up getting the early lead against UCLA. Watch out for the Hoosiers, folks. Coach Signetti's a stud, and so are his players. Just look at the effort from this one player to ensure a touchdown for us. Great team. Watch out. Tice, what you think about the Indiana Hoosiers?
I'm a Indiana.
I love
As you can see, we are all very supportive of our football team and all Hoosier sports in general. Max, being the great host he is, decides to order 6 full extra large pizzas. Just check out the size of these things. It was safe to say that not only was there great action at the poker table, but everyone was very well fed and very happy to be there. Thanks again, Max. After what seems like forever, we are finally dealt a hand we are willing to play. We have pocket 10s on the button and action limps to Tice in the hijack. He bets $5. I then raise it to $10 with my pocket pair. The player to my left in the small blind calls, and Dylan and Tice call as well. The flop comes 10, king, 9, rainbow. Nice. We have middle set. Action checks to the hijack at 3. He throws out $15. I call with my 3 of a kind and the small blind and under the gun fold. Heads up to the turn, which is the queen of diamonds. Connecting the board a lot more than before.
Does that help or hurt you?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I don't know. We'll see what you have to do.
Oh, really? 25.
My opponent bets out $25 and now I'm in the tank. Even though I have a set, there are a bunch of straight draws that just got there. Whether or not I want to call when I could potentially be drawing to a paired board or chop is the question. Tice could definitely have a straight here, and I really think that's what he has. Eventually, I make the hero fold with my 3 of a kind, and luckily I did, as Tice shows his hand.
Are you riding back with Sean?
What a fold by me. Turns out I put Tice on the exact hand he was holding. He had me beat holding king jack offsuit and the queen completing his straight. Unfortunately, Rocco did happen to show the river, and it turns out we would have chopped anyway with a straight on the board. Nevertheless, great fold by me, as I read the situation correctly and assessed that I was beat in that scenario. Nice hand, Tice. Good fold. Yep. Tice always complains that he's not in the vlog. Congrats, Tice. Nice hand. What a good host. What a good host. This kid Dylan, what did you just do?
Tip this motherfucker.
Rocco the dealer, $55. If you ever need a side gig, be a dealer in a home poker game.
That's my daddy.
Good shit, Rocco. After about 30 minutes, we are then dealt pocket jacks in the small blind. Action limps to me, and I bump it up to $5. The big blind and the low jack call for 4 more, and we are 3 ways to a flop, which comes ace, 4, 7, 2 clubs. Action checks through on this board, and the turn is the 10 of clubs. I bet $10 representing that I'm holding clubs and my flush hit, which it did not. Both players call, and we are now 3 ways to our river, which comes the queen of clubs. I look down at my hand to make sure that I'm not holding a club. Nope, I am not. Time to give up, as now any club has me beat. Action checks through again, surprisingly, and the big blind happened to have not only an ace on the flop, but also a club, beating both me and the low jack. Nice hand, bad run out. Next hand, we are on the cutoff, and we look down at pocket aces. This is the first time that the vlog gets to see me play pocket rockets, so let's get right into the action. The $6 button straddle is on, small blind folds, big blind calls, under the gun folds, player to his left calls, the low jack and hijack both make the call as well, and then action is on me. I really just want to take this one down. I don't want too many players to somehow get there. I raised to $25 with the best starting hand in poker. Action folds around to the button, who's straddled for $6. He claims he's going to call, just for the vlog.
You want to check it out? You want to check it out? No.
He does, and we are heads up to a flop, which comes jack, ace, 7, 2 hearts. There it is. We have top set in a $75 pot. I then decide to go for a devious check, and my opponent falls for the trap and bets out $23. I am definitely raising here, but how much is the question? There's both a flush and some straight possibilities out there. I decide that I don't really care, that I'm not going to get enough value. I want to take this pot down right here and now, and I just take a stack of chips and put it in the middle. Before the dealer can count it out, my opponent snap folds. Very happy to take this one down with pocket aces, and I'm happy my opponent didn't have to suffer too much, as I took him out pretty quickly there.
I have nothing.
The next hand we are blessed with is king, 9 of spades. It is a limp pot, and I check my option. The flop comes jack, 10, 8, 2 diamonds, giving us an open-ended straight draw. When action checks to me, I decide to go with a massive sizing of $1. The big blind calls, then Dylan in the cutoff check raises to $3. I call for $2 more, and the player to my left folds. Heads up to a turn, and it is a 7, completing our straight. I check, Dylan fires out $10, and I call. River is a 9, putting it straight out there on the board. Action checks through as we are probably splitting the pot now.
Wait, what's strict you got?
Chop it up.
Oh, wait, on the
Chop.
After that hand, I decided to head over where Max is and cash out. On top of a great session, the Hoosiers also crushed UCLA. What a night. It is the next day, and we are with Nanda again.
How we doing?
Just got some wonderful food at Buffalo Louie's. Definitely recommend it. You should definitely go check it out. Good session.
Good sesh. Not for me.
I really like the new location. Turns out Max said that we'll be running games there from now on, so let me know in the comments if you like the new place. And yeah, numbers wise, we were in for $100 and ended up cashing $180 for a net profit of $80. Pretty good. I think we're still in the positives within the poker vlog journey, so that's good. Hopefully that number keeps getting larger and larger. Guys, I really appreciate your support. You guys watching these videos really does make it, makes it worthwhile. All the editing, all the filming, it really makes it worth it. So I really appreciate it. You guys are the best, and I will see you next time.
Hell yeah, boys. See you guys. Subscribe, comment, like on this
Listen
shit.
to Nand. Yep.
Next
See y'all
video is
later.
gonna be a banger.
See y'all later.